Hello everyone, it's Brian here, and it is Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, but most importantly, it is the first day of school, so finally the kids are off to school, which is fantastic. I didn't do any labor on Labor Day, but I will do a thread response today, and this one is for Jack at the CD Cave, who came up with a thread called Music by Numbers. The idea is pretty simple. You just show records or CDs, album titles, song titles, band names that have a number in it. And there's been some pretty good responses to this. In fact, I just watched Mark Morris's response, and it was quite good. And he reminded me that Peter at Music as a Journey used prime numbers. And I'm not doing anything nearly as sophisticated as that. I just have 10, actually I have 11, because I'm going 0 to 10. And they're all album titles except for one, and I got stuck on one, so one is a band name. But other than that, they're album titles. And let's start with 0. Here's a record with nothing on the cover apart from this image. You may recognize it. This is from the soundtrack, or this is the soundtrack from the film Less Than Zero, the Bret Easton Ellis novel. And I think the title comes from an Elvis Costello song. But I read this novel, which I did not like. I thought it was dumb. I haven't seen the movie. Interesting album concept, because there's no title. It's a top loader. It's on Def Jam Records. And it has a mix of popular songs like The Bangles, Roy Orbison, Joan Jett, and then it has some heavier stuff, Danzig, Slayer, Aerosmith, and then a couple of, Poison's also on here, and has a couple of tracks that really captivated me. We got Public Enemy's Bring the Noise, and we've got LL Cool J's Going Back to Cali. So interesting album. I will show you the label because some people like to see them. There we have Def Jam Recordings. So that's pretty cool. The only problem with this is my copy, I guess it was dropped at some point. It's a bit of damage here, but oh well. For number 1, let's go with Sparks, Number 1 in Heaven, which you may be able to see there. Number 1 in Heaven, a nice spark plug over there. From 1979, and I guess this is really their disco period in a way. It was produced by Giorgio Moroder. One thing I remember about this is I was reading some time ago, I can't remember when, that Joy Division was influenced by this record when they were recording Love Will Tear Us Apart, which I think is really weird. I don't see how the two even relate to each other, but who knows? And here they are here. This is a pretty interesting record. Quite an interesting opening to it. Tryouts for the Human Race, I think, is quite good. La Dolce Vita, the number 1 song in Heaven, Beat the Clock, etc. Upside Down. Anyway, enjoyable Sparks record. I mean, Sparks are always enjoyable at some level, but this is kind of cool. Then from 1978, the second XTC record called Go To. I'm not going to talk about this album cover. It's had lots of discussion over the years, but it's a pretty good record. In their early sort of strange, angular kind of, I don't know what other word to use for it, period. It has Mechanic Dancing, which I believe was collected on the Fossil Fuels collection, so I guess that was, I don't know if there were singles from this one, I can't remember, but it's pretty good. The Virgin green and red design. And then for number 3, I've chosen, I guess this is either an EP or a 12-inch single, who knows, from the Durruti Column or the Durruti Column, whatever you prefer. Greetings 3. The band led by Vin Riley on guitar. I've always loved his guitar playing. It's so soothing, peaceful. I think Johnny Marr was influenced by Vin Riley. This is an Italian pressing, upside down label there, another upside down one, 45 RPM out of Italy. Great. I think it's really good. From 1986, if I didn't mention that, which I probably didn't. Number 4, we have the Housemartins, London 0 Hall 4, so we get 2 numbers in there. Also from 1986. It's a band I really do like this band, but there's certain songs that just irritate me. But on this record, it's a pretty good record. We have Happy Hour, which is one of the most popular Housemartins songs. Flag Day, that's a good one. Sheep, Sure. Think for a minute. We're Not Deep. Pretty good. I will say I can't stand the track Caravan of Love. I think it's awful. I don't know why people like it. I just don't understand it. On Go Discs right here. So that is cool. The inner sleeve is splitting on me, so I have to fix that. And then for number 5, I have 5 Miles Out by Mike Oldfield. The other day I was chatting or communicating with MGK Boston, Mike, and this came up because we talked about Maggie Riley came up and she sings on here. It's a really interesting record because the first side is just one track called Taurus 2. And the second, just hit the microphone, the second side has 4 tracks, including Family Man and 5 Miles Out, which I think is terrific. She has a great voice. Upside Down, is it? Yes, probably. And let me show you Taurus 2 on there. So that's a good record. Although I just realized that my copy has a bit of noise on side 2, so I might have to replace that. For 6, this might be a record that surprises a few people, but we have Rick Wakeman's 6 Wives of Henry VIII. And there they are, all 6 wives. Imagine that. This is a pretty good record, though. I don't listen to it very often, but when I do put it on, I'm reminded of how interesting it is. It's the A&M label. Pretty cool. Of course, I can't remember what any of the tracks are called, or even if there are. Oh yeah, they are listed here. Yeah. Yes. Anyway, I won't read them. And then for 7, let's talk about The Flaming Lips. This is Seven Skies H3. Interesting album cover. The album title's printed on the back here. Seven Skies H3, which originally was something like a 24-hour piece of music, which they reduced to 50 minutes or so for Record Store Day, I think 2014. Here's the hype sticker. Yeah, 50 minutes, a 50-minute distillation across 10 tracks of the epic 24-hour song recorded in 2011 on vinyl for the first time. Cool, right? Shiny inner sleeve, and this is on some sort of clearish vinyl. Well, actually, cloudy, clear vinyl, which is quite nice. My memory is that they released this on a USB key inside of a skull or something in a limited edition, I think. And this is the only one where I've had to choose a band name because I couldn't find. Well, there was a song, but I couldn't find an album with this title. But I've chosen a Canadian band called 8 Seconds. This is called Alma Cantar from '86 again. Band out of Ottawa. This is oddly their debut record, but produced by Rupert Hine, which was kind of a coup, I guess. Synth pop, new wavy kind of band. And the big track on here was Kiss You When It's Dangerous. Where's Beulah? I think also got some radio play. I think they did 2 records and then disappeared, I think. Someone will correct me if I'm wrong there. That's an Alma Cantar, I guess, some sort of navigational instrument, I think. Could be wrong. It's my memory. Number 9 from 1989 is a record called 9 by Public Image Limited. So you wouldn't know that unless you can see the spine. Well, actually, is it here? I don't even know. I can't even. Oh yeah, it is at the end here. There's a 9. I think the big track on here was probably Disappointed, right? And there we go. Public Image Limited, 9. And number 10, because why not? I had to round it out at 10, even though that means I'm showing 11 records. We have what is possibly the worst or my least favorite record from the Stranglers, called 10. Although I do love this album cover. I mentioned this record in a different video, and I also mentioned that I do love the album cover. And there's a couple good tracks on here. I mean, Sweet Smell of Success is okay. The cover version of 96 Tears. But all in all, I found this to be a disappointment, especially because it comes after Oral Sculpture and Dreamtime, which I thought were really good new wavy synth pop records, and then we ended up with this, which was far less interesting to me, but it's still a Stranglers record, and I should have said it's from 1990. All right, so I encourage you to check out this thread and other people who have done it, and I will see you in the next video.